You've probably heard the phrase, your network is your net worth, and it's catchy. But the thing is, a network full of business cards or LinkedIn connections isn't what fuels real leadership growth. What really matters are alliances, relationships that are rooted in trust and mutual benefit and a shared vision. So, today we're going to unpack how leaders can stop thinking of networking as a numbers game and start building strategic alliances that actually create opportunity. So, I want to talk about why alliances matter more than ever in leadership and the difference between simple networking and actual alliances, and how to identify and nurture those relationships and to turn alliances into opportunity without feeling like it's transactional and it's more relational. So, by the end, I want you to see that strong leaders don't just collect contacts, they cultivate the alliances or they cultivate those relationships. So, why do alliances matter? If we start with the big picture, we live in a world where information moves faster than ever. Industries change overnight, new technologies disrupt the way we work, and leaders are being asked to pivot constantly. No one can keep up with that alone. Alliances matter because they expand your capacity. They give you access to wisdom and resources and opportunities you could not create on your own. One stat that always sticks with me is according to Harvard Business Review, up to 65% of new business opportunities come from existing relationships. That means more than half the doors that open in your career or your business are opened by people that you already know. I remember talking with a CEO who was trying to expand into a new market, and they had the strategy, the funding, and the team. But what made the difference was one strategic relationship that she had cultivated years earlier. A former colleague introduced her to a local partner who became the bridge into that market. And without that alliance, it would have taken twice as long and probably cost twice as much, whether marketing or whatever efforts. And so that is why alliances matter. They're not just the nice to haves and, rack up the numbers for networking. They are multipliers for leadership. And so, if we look at the differences with networking and strategic alliances, let's clear up the misconception. Networking and alliances are not the same. Networking often feels like collecting, going to an event, shaking hands, exchange cards, maybe connect on LinkedIn, and then honestly, most of the time, nothing really happens. It just stays shallow. Or until the next year where you go to that same event and potentially run into the same people. Strategic alliances are different. They are built on depth, not just the breadth. And an alliance is someone that you trust enough to share information with, maybe to brainstorm ideas with, or to open a door for, and the trust goes both ways. I know for me, having spent a lot of years in digital marketing, there's a gal who does websites and that's all she does. Well, I happen to do websites depending on the right client, whether I do it myself or I pass it on to somebody else. But we have an amazing alliance where I can pass off those right people to her, and she can pass off all of those businesses who have a website, but now they need the social media marketing, the email marketing, the ad spend, whatever it is, the marketing strategy. Now she can pass those people off to me as well. And it is a beautiful alliance where we trust each other and we know that each other will take good care of our clients. And so here's the difference in a sentence. Networking is about who you know. Alliances are about who you grow with. So think about Oprah Winfrey and Gayle King. That is not just a friendship, it is a lifelong alliance. They have supported, encouraged, and opened opportunities for each other across decades. And if you consider how Sheryl Sandberg built alliances across Silicon Valley, she did not just meet people at events, she cultivated real relationships that allowed her to move from Google to Facebook and lead transformative growth. Networking gets you a contact, but alliances help you create change. So, how do we identify and nurture mutually beneficial relationships? Because the important word I want to point out here is mutually, a mutually beneficial relationship. How do you move from surface level connections to real true alliances? First, look for alignment. The best alliances are built with people who share similar values, goals, or passions. They don't have to be in the same industry, but there should be a natural overlap. And second, look for complementary strengths. If you are strong in vision but weak in operations, find someone who loves systems. If you are an innovator, connect with someone who knows how to scale. Alliances are about completing each other, not competing with each other. And third, nurture those relationships with consistency. And that's more than just once a year. Relationships do not grow on autopilot. Schedule the coffee check-ins. Send a note when they hit a milestone. Keep tabs on what's going on in their world. Celebrate their wins with them. Be the kind of person who shows up even when you don't need something, because that's how you create a mutually respected and beneficial relationship. I once worked with a leader who had a small circle of trusted allies, if you will. She had cultivated over a decade, and she told me that every month she intentionally reached out to at least 3 of them just to ask, how can I support you right now? And that one simple habit kept her alliances strong. And when she needed help navigating a big organizational change, those allies showed up for her without hesitation. And that was her turn, her time to be able to be invested into. So mutual benefit is the key. If you're only taking, the relationship is never going to last. But when you both give and receive, that law of reciprocity, alliances grow deep roots. So let's turn alliances into an opportunity without feeling the transactional side of things. How do we do this? If we talk about the part that makes people really nervous, how do you actually turn the alliances into an opportunity without feeling like you're using someone? And the secret, I would say, is opportunity is the byproduct of trust. If you have built the relationship on genuine care, then asking for help or opening a door will not feel transactional. It's just going to feel natural. And start small. Ask for advice before you ask for favors. Share information that might benefit them. And look for ways to collaborate that add value to both sides. For example, I know 2 women who met through a leadership development program. They started sharing resources casually, articles, introductions, little things. Over time, that relationship turned into a formal partnership between their companies. It had happened naturally because the foundation was already there and they had already built that trust with each other. Another example is I will do branding guides, branding and marketing for clients. And I have a lady that I actually used to nanny for who all she does is branding. And so, she has been a huge, mentor for me. And she has never shied away from being helpful. Even though you could consider us two competitors, we have never treated each other like competitors. And it started off where I would only do social media marketing, and it grew into me being a full service agency and running a full service agency. And she just sticks with her inner branding world. And I love that about her. She's really good at it. And so for the right clients who are looking for something really big and they have the budget for it, she is the A game. She is the A team to provide top-notch service, and I know I can refer back to her. And so there's been times where I've created just a mock-up simple branding guide for a new startup company on a low budget, and I've sent it her way. What do you think? What could I change? Do you think this looks okay? And so being able to work together and have that mutually beneficial relationship. And here's the flip side. When you have an alliance, don't be afraid to ask. Research shows people are actually more willing to help than we assume. We think that we're imposing, and I know I'm probably the biggest at fault about this, but most people enjoy being able to open a door or share wisdom with them. And so the key is to keep the relationship human. Celebrate the birthdays, anniversaries, ask about their kids, send a text that just says, thinking of you, if you're at a point where that's not weird. And when you care about the person more than the potential deal, the opportunities will flow. So in leadership, your network is not just your net worth. Your alliances are. Alliances expand your capacity and multiply your opportunities and help you navigate change. Networking is about collecting the contacts. And that's not a bad thing. Honestly, that's where a lot of your relationships might start. But strategic alliances are about cultivating the trust. To build them, look for alignment and complementary strengths and nurture with consistency. And when it is time to create that opportunity, do it from a place of trust and care, not as a transaction. Strong leaders don't just know a lot of people, they cultivate the right alliances that carry them further than they could ever go alone. So thanks for joining me today. If this episode resonated with you, share it with a friend or colleague who maybe could listen to this too. And as always, if you want to go further in your leadership journey, reach out to me. I would love to walk with you. And until next time, keep investing in relationships that matter, and you will see the opportunities follow.